about rainbows.
Tom Schweitzer founded A Place to Be in Loudoun County, Virginia, to heal hearts and minds through the restorative power of music therapy.
Our visions, but only illusions.
But this force for good recently faced the crisis of his life amid the pandemic.
I'm healthy, I work out, I take care of myself, I was safe.
COVID landed Schweitzer in the emergency room last summer.
On the fourth day, my breathing changed drastically.
Pneumonia compromised his lungs so quickly, he was only hours from intubation. That's when he made a bedside promise. If God could just get him through the night.
I had a great talk with God last night. We have this thing figured out. I'm gonna be fine. It's gonna take some time.
In time, Schweitzer discovered he was a COVID long hauler.
This virus, this disease, took over every part of my body, not just my lungs.
He forgot the names of dear friends, couldn't recall simple words and phrases, and had trouble retrieving fond memories. And his brain fog remains to this day.
Reach it up!
In December, he followed through on that bedside promise by starting a free weekly music therapy session.
Breathe in. Hold it, and breathe it out. Oh!
For fellow long haulers.
It's so weird. Like one day I can feel okay and the next day I'm like dragging and can barely get anything done.
Sessions include moving, singing, and talking through dark moments of continued struggle.
2020 was like the hardest year of my entire life, hands down. I feel like I almost died.
I feel like damaged goods in a lot of ways.
Oh, sweetheart.
It's okay.
People need to feel validated, and I think that that is probably the biggest gift that this group gives the long haulers every Wednesday.
Yeah, I guess my biggest fear is not being in a good physical state, you know?
Yep, I do know.
And all of a sudden, I'm extremely anemic.
COVID survivor Tony Popkin of Fairfax County
Keep moving forward.
cherishes each of Tom's sessions.
You know, it just feels like this mountain is growing.
Popkin spent several years with the help of her service dog Bud, successfully recovering from traumatic brain injuries sustained in car accidents. Just prior to COVID, she was an award-winning volunteer, sat on high-profile service committees, and created art.
It's been incredibly hard because it has turned my life upside down.
After COVID, old issues like high blood pressure and asthma roared back. She's been hospitalized multiple times for pneumonia, and her brain fog is so bad she can't do math, multitask, or read for any length of time.
And then there's some people who say, just get over it already, you know? And I'm like, I wish I could.
Now cross your arms.
This 1 hour session, her refuge.
No matter how I'm feeling, you know, how tired or how down or how whatever is going on, it's always uplifting.
This next thing we're going to try is going to be working on your visual endurance.
I'm looking for bells.
And Popkin is also improving.
I don't know, it just seems like more and more are popping up.
I promise I'm not doing that to you.
Thanks to the Post-COVID Recovery and Rehabilitation Center at Inova Loudoun.
I can't do two things at one time. Which one was the last one I just did?
Here, occupational therapists like Laura Serene
So that E is your focus. I want you to tell me when that E starts to look like it's two E's.
work diligently with patients like Tony to get them back to the life they once knew.
It's a roller coaster. I mean, that's how I describe it. Is I'm on a roller coaster, and I don't like roller coasters.
I hear so frequently that people are physically better, but they still have that cognitive fatigue. They have difficulty multitasking. They have difficulty problem solving, and everyone just says you just have to deal with it. It's going to get better. It may not. You may need some additional help.
Think about this with COVID. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long.
It's hard to know if the long and winding road of COVID will ever disappear, but for some, it sure helps when you can share the ride with a friend.
But my voice sounds a lot better.
Yes.
Totally.
And people are telling me my color looks better.
I couldn't have found a better group of people.
And I want to let you know, every doctor tells me that singing and exercise is what's going to help me. And I should just keep on singing.
I miss hugging you. I miss holding you. I miss all the things we used to do to pass the day away. We're taking the broken part of ourselves, which COVID has broken inside of us, and we're trying to put the pieces back together again. And I think doing that as a group is so much more profound and effective.
And thanks to that bedside promise, a weekly session Tom Schweitzer plans on continuing as he and the nation heal.
I love you all, and I will be here next Wednesday night. Thank you all, and go listen to some music tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it.
I'm Jay Korff for 7 News.
Songs about rainbows.
I have all these dirty rocks that I have to wash and make pretty. Most people out there don't realize that I watch pretty much everyone that walks by. It's just I get the biggest kick out of watching them pick out which rocks they want to take home. How cool is it that I can take something like a rock that normally somebody would just walk past in my yard and turn it into something they want to pick up and take home? That's why I do it. Once they turn white and you really start to see the shapes, and they really do look like little canvases.
Margie Hunter transformed her Leesburg, Virginia dining room several months ago into an art studio.
Literally every color of the rainbow: purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, pink. It's the least expensive hobby I've ever had.
My first impression was, oh, Margie's up to it again, honestly, because this is not the first thing that she has done.
And I write with a paint pen instead of brushes, just a sharper line.
This graphic artist yearned for an outlet during the COVID age that would utilize her creativity and her empathy.
This was a good one for me. Trust your crazy ideas.
So she started painting rocks.
Giving them a nice bright coat of color.
Sure, the dazzling pigments delight the eye, but it's her words.
So proud of you.
That are inspiring friends and strangers searching for strength.
You just never know what people are going through.
When COVID-19's disquiet washed over our region, Margie Hunter went to work.
And it literally felt like right outside the window, like the world was sick.
Early on, she wrote positive chalk messages on neighborhood sidewalks. Then she and her daughter sewed thousands of masks for anyone in need of one. Last summer, she moved on to rocks and hasn't stopped.
Start believing in yourself.
Creating 1,500 so far, even one for herself.
The noblest of art is that of making others happy.
She often adds an uplifting phrase that one friend calls better than Hallmark.
You know, something they can take home and keep and remind them that we're going to get through this. These are just waiting to go into the photo booth to get a picture because that's all I'm going to have. I'm going to give them away.
There's like a rock for everybody here. Which one is saying hello to you?
Back in August, Hunter started the Kindness Rocks project in her garden that hugs a public path.
Take one when you need one, share one with a friend who needs some inspiration, or leave one for another.
Sometimes it's just funny faces or just something that brightens your day.
Every day, dozens stream by in search of a saying.
Squeeze the day.
She even crocheted a 12-foot-tall tree sweater, a welcome mat, if you will, for visitors.
Hope is stronger than fear.
Laura Blacken found mementos for family members and herself.
I picked out a rock that says, I'm going to make you so proud. Note to self. Like, how can we create more of this? How can we create little pockets of wonder that just pop up out of nowhere and surprise us?
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Turn wounds into wisdom.
Be happy.
Jill Orton and daughter Olivia, like so many, lingered when they arrived.
You're not alone.
And it's in the form of a rock, something so natural, but yet so beautiful.
If we've learned anything while waiting for this agonizing viral haze to clear, it's that the simplest of joys are often the most profound.
It's a rock, but it's more than a rock.
We just have to look.
I went through a stage in my life where I was pretty unhappy.
So Pamela Nay decided to focus on one word in 2021. She picked strength.
I learned that happiness is a choice. And man, when I learned that, it changed my life.
When Pam found out that her former co-worker had handcrafted this garden of keepsakes, she asked for 5 strength stones, one for a different room in her home.
You have to look for the happiness, you have to find joy, and you have to create it.
Margie Hunter believes that one message, at just the right moment, can do more than improve your day. It can change your life.
Don't start big. We don't have to save the world. Love the person that's next to you. That's where it starts.
It's an art installation that just keeps giving to this neighborhood. So I'm blessed every time I walk by.
When we feel blessed, we spread joy and share our strength so we and others can keep going. I'm Jay Korff for ABC 7 News.
So we're in Rappahannock County, which is about 2 hours outside of Washington, D.C.
Nestled deep within the Blue Ridge Mountains near Sperryville, Virginia, pick your own produce orchards blossom.
The breezes that roll off the valley and roll through, it's really peaceful.
But the owners of newly opened FT Valley Farm, Algus and Kathy Pencunis,
Well, I'm glad you brought the boys back. Are you guys ready to pick?
are coping with a unique problem.
And then take a bite.
They've got too many apples.
It's a crunchy, juicy, dark red ball of deliciousness.
We realized how much fruit was coming in and then saying, oh my goodness, where is all this going to go?
Settlers first tilled this land nearly 300 years ago. Centuries later, this season's bounty of 1.5 million apples off their 12,000 trees is overwhelming even the most optimistic of planters.
This year has been incredible.
This couple, their children, and a small, dedicated staff
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
sell plenty of farm fresh Fuji's. Their focus now? Sharing their bounty. These bulging baskets, filling wagon after wagon of apples, are heading to food insecure families in Northern Virginia.
We're picking all the apples that are going to be donated to the school.
I feel like it's my duty to take care of my neighbors, and I know my husband feels the same way.
This desire to give back stems from a historic trauma faced by Algus's Lithuanian parents. During World War II, they knew what it meant to go hungry while eluding the Nazis. That remnant of human suffering passed down through the generations makes it painful for these two to waste anything.
You see all these apples and you're like, okay, you know, they need a home and let's get them out to where it can help people.
So the farm is partnering with Be the Good Project this fall.
And these apples are going to go to local schools that have high levels of food insecurity and free and reduced lunch rates.
Amber and Sterling Marchand formed Be the Good Project at the pandemic's height. On this day, Amber delivered a big bag to Groveton Elementary School in Fairfax County.
All right, guys, how about some apples?
Mine's juicy, it's sweet, and it's a little bit sour.
And Be the Good Project is extending the lives of these apples even more by finding good-hearted bakers like Mary Brooke.
I like big cookies. Big cookies.
Brooke says people have always been there for her during her various health struggles. So to return the favor, she spends hours making goodies for those in need.
Something I could still do for my fellow man.
These cookies to be heading to a DC homeless shelter.
People are important. Very important.
So important that they deserve only FT Valley Farm's finest.
These kids deserve to have a nutritious, well-balanced meal just like our kids have. All kids deserve it. It's really rewarding for me to know that these kids are going to be able to take a bite of the apple that we grew right here on the orchard.
I'm Jay Korff for 7 News.
Have you registered already, sir? Yes. Okay. Oh, okay, you go to 12, the last table on the left, okay?
This sheltered department store at Dulles Town Center has never been busier.
10, 11, 12.
Well, see, shoes was over on the other side.
Every day, some 4,000 Loudoun County residents stroll in and roll in.
I'm good. How are you doing?
And the numbers keep climbing. Not to purchase a chic handbag or sample the latest scent,
We're in makeup, aren't we? Yeah, this was perfume, yeah.
but for protection against our greatest fear of this last year.
This is where shots get in arms as soon as we have vaccine to put there.
Number 9, straight ahead and to the right, please.
County leaders hit pay dirt several weeks ago, securing prime real estate to accommodate soaring demand.
Very convenient for folks. There's lots of parking.
They transformed an old Nordstrom into a massive 2-story vaccine clinic.
This site just passed a milestone of 100,000 vaccinations.
Let's go the other arm.
Amy Reich is grateful she's now fully vaccinated.
Relief, a lot of relief. Yeah, this is good. And these folks are heroes. I mean, they're volunteering their time and coming here and making sure that we're all safe. This is terrific.
We need more vaccine too, Heather, when you have a second.
To move this much product from syringe to skin,
I'm drawing up the Pfizer vaccine into a 1 cc syringe.
the county called in the Medical Reserve Corps.
I mean, it's obviously a lot of work.
The MRC, launched after 9/11, pre-screens and puts to work volunteers like retired critical care nurse Gwen Pangle.
It's very gratifying, and it's an incredible responsibility, I think. You know, it sort of goes to the heart of who we all are, trying to help and be a part of the greater good.
Then I'm going to move you right over here to number 3, okay?
Then there's Gail Groy and her husband, retired dentist, Dr. Dave Groy.
Everyone keeps saying to me, well, you could work at the airport.
They're working traffic control.
I'm sorry, if you'll come right here, sir.
Which means trying to get people at the right spot at the right time.
To make sure folks like Jacqueline Rivera get in and out quickly.
I think the volunteers here should be given a standing ovation on a regular basis. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Emotions run the gamut here, from fear and relief to the realization that thanks to the time and care of our neighbors,
We could not do any of this without the community support.
we are finding the very places and the very people we need to endure.
None of us ever expected this. It was not what we were planning for, but we all stood up and we all responded to it, and we're all working really hard to get us through this.
I'm Jay Korff for 7 News.
The line is huge.
On a busy Sunday at the Vienna Open Air Spring Market,
Are you in line for hearts?
most patrons queued up for the colorful offerings
Almost your turn.
of one particular vendor.
I'm looking for one of the rustic heart signs. I've been in line before trying to get one and they ran out, and I'm so excited they're here.
So I'm gonna ask you to loop around this way and then pick your color. Whichever one has your personality.
I'm looking for the bright ones because I want it to pop.
We went with green and a white heart.
These signs, with their simple but poignant heart design, are so in demand
I just love them, so I might get 2.
because they represent a movement of empathy in Vienna that's prevented restaurants from closing and families from going hungry.
It exploded. It just went crazy. People saw the signs. Oh, I want a sign. Yes, I want to give money. It was beautiful. They circled the wagons. They just said nobody in Vienna is going without.
Man, I haven't even seen how far it goes back. That's crazy. It's really awesome.
Michelle Davila's hearty laugh stems from a powerful and unexpected backstory.
I'm totally surprised. Who knew? A year ago, this didn't exist. We were making masks, trying to figure everything out. And if you would have told me a year ago that this would happen, I would have thought you were completely crazy.
Last June, her children and friends started making and selling these signs. They called the neighborhood project Rustic Love Vienna. Donations go to struggling mom-and-pop eateries like Scorpio's Family Restaurant, owned by the Maggios.
I put all my time and my money and my life and my blood into that business.
Sherry Maggio feared for her livelihood.
How am I going to pay for my house? How am I going to pay for my kids' college? How am I going to pay my bills?
Restaurants use the money to stay afloat, then turn around and make meals for those in need.
Rustic Love saved us. They saved all of Vienna.
The ornament is 10, and then the sign is just by donation.
Rustic Love Vienna signs became so wildly popular,
Great. How much did you want to donate for the sign? I can help you.
they started a nonprofit.
Are you doing cash or credit? Okay, the total is 86. I'll put this in a bag for you.
They now partner with local businesses to offer even more heart-themed merchandise.
Well, we're making Rustic Love Vienna shirts today.
Trish Alexander runs Vienna Sports.
For me, when I'm printing, it takes just a few seconds to put that heart on a shirt, but it's got such a lasting effect. Little did we know that this was going to be this big thing, right?
It's been just amazing collaboration to see what Rustic Love has been doing for the community, for food insecure and first responders.
Vienna Vintner owner Victor Mendez traveled to California to bottle 2 Rustic Love Vienna vintages he's now selling.
For those who obviously want to support the cause, please support the cause, but the wine is actually pretty fabulous.
So the first wine that we're having is the Rustic Love Chardonnay.
For every bottle sold, Mendez donates $10 to the cause.
There's a lot of people out there that don't have food to eat. They don't have, money to support themselves. People are losing jobs.
Rustic Love has blossomed so brilliantly.
Push it a little more forward. You don't want an uneven cut.
The very teenagers who started this project, like Michelle's son Lucas,
This is a nailing station.
are now instructing volunteers.
Beautiful.
Members of the group Vienna Moms came one day to make and then help sell Rustic Love Vienna signs.
It's honestly just a feeling of satisfaction, knowing that I'm doing my part to make my community a better place.
And so you're just going to be going back and forth over the stake.
My dad owns a small business and has struggled through the pandemic, so this is really important to me. And I hope that what we're doing helps. I hope that we provide a little bit of help in a dark time, because it isn't going to go away.
We might want to do a second coat on some of them.
In less than a year, they have created more than 2,000 signs.
It makes me feel great that we've done something as a family and as a town together to improve people's lives through an incredibly difficult time.
Davila believes that people want so desperately to help that all you have to do is create the smallest of openings, and they'll jump right in. Before that last sign was snagged at the Vienna Open Air Spring Market, we met Bonnie Campagnolo in line.
I've been waiting for months to get my Rustic Love Vienna sign, so I'm here today and can't wait.
Her excitement is about so much more than celebrating her town's compassion. It's about personally giving back after she endured her own unexpected hardship.
Well, I was furloughed from my job, and it was a little crazy. So, just to be able to help, we're good now, but it was rough for a little while. To help other people.
We often return to the simplest things to get us through the toughest of times. In the case of a town with a lot of heart, 2 colors, and a few slabs of wood. I'm Jay Korff for 7 News.
There's a lot of need in the community, and we want to know how we can help.
While food insecurity continues,
Elote, zanahoria, naranja.
a new vaccine registration initiative is taking hold in places hit hard by COVID-19.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Neighborhood Health, a large provider of medical services for the underinsured in Northern Virginia, is combining forces with scores of community groups to identify people in need and get them vaccinated.
¿Y está interesada en registrarse para la vacuna? Oh, ok, perfecto.
In this case, while United Community hands out food in Alexandria, Neighborhood Health is there to alleviate vaccine concerns by providing education and even transportation once vaccine dates are scheduled.
In state after state and nationally, we're seeing that communities of color, particularly Black and Hispanic residents, are being vaccinated at lower rates.
Dr. Basim Khan, who runs Neighborhood Health, says they've doled out some 10,000 vaccines. 85% have been to people of color. He says the key is improving access to a process often confounding.
Bueno, lo que yo pienso es que sí, qué tan efectiva será.
Adamara Diga, who lost her job due to the pandemic, was concerned about the vaccine's effectiveness and side effects.
78.
But now is registered, knowing a shot in her arm will get her back to work sooner.
I know a lot of Spanish people is scared.
Carla Clare is another piece of this innovative puzzle. She lives in the community, struggles herself, and works with United Community as a neighborhood ambassador to feed friends and convince them to get vaccinated. So far, she's registered some 250 people.
Every time you have one person who make inscription, is one life is safe, for sure.
Korff, ABC 7 News.